Cubs has never been to Las Vegas, Nevada. That's where we greet you from today. It's a two-game exhibition series between the Cleveland Indians and the Chicago Cubs from Cashman Field in Vegas, a rematch of that fantastic World Series of 2 years ago. Well, hi, everyone. Matt Underwood alongside Rick Manning. We are less than 2 weeks away now from opening day when the Indians will open the season in Seattle against the Mariners. So far, everything running along rather smoothly, and that includes the Indians' all-world shortstop Francisco Lindor, who last year set a franchise record for most homers and most extra base hits by an Indian shortstop.
Well, he's taking his game to a different level right now. This guy, one of the best players in the game, and I'll tell you what, 44 doubles last year, 33 home runs, the 81 extra base hits were third in the league, and he trailed one. You know what? His teammate Ramirez had 91, but when you look at the home runs, MLB record by switch hitting shortstops, and only Earl Averill has more hits in his first 3 years as an Indian. That's saying something because this franchise has been around a long time.
Indians have a pretty good hitting lineup on the field today, but so do the Chicago Cubs. Short dimensions here at Cashman Field. Wind blowing out. Could see a lot of runs scored today. Jason Kipnis has already belted 6 homers on the spring. Bradley Zimmer's in the lineup. So is Yanni. And Rajay Davis will greet the Cubs once again here today.
If you or a loved one are a victim of a
Wheel located in the heart of the Strip on Las Vegas Boulevard. Cashman Field at the north end of Las Vegas Boulevard. That's where we are today. And speaking of high rollers, go downstairs to our pal Andre Knott.
Thank you very much, Matt. Well, we're in Las Vegas, and obviously this is a minor league ballpark, final year that it'll be played in. Only thing is, for most of the players, much like going to San Antonio last year, the ball is going to fly out to left field and right field, and also with the height of the wall. A lot of players during batting practice trying to figure out how the ball would bounce back. Could be a fun game. Starting pitchers and the pitchers that are on the mound don't keep the ball down today.
Yeah, especially with the wind blowing out, Andre. I'll tell you what, this ball could fly out of here today. We will have to wait and see. Jose Quintana, though, will make the start. No stranger to the Indians. Of course, he was with the White Sox going over to the Cubs last year on July 13th.
All right, Francisco Lindor steps in for the Indians. Batting .282 on the spring. He has 11 hits and 39 at bats. And Quintana's first pitch misses down and in for ball 1. On the spring, the Indians have won 12, lost 9. They've tied a couple of games. Cubs are 13-7, and 3 times they've ended in a tie. 1-0 pitch, broken bat, bouncer to third base. Chris Bryant throws it across. That brings back some bad memories. 1 down. Here's the rest of the Indians starting lineup today. Rajay Davis, the DH, batting behind Lindor. Then Jason Kipnis hits third. Mike Napoli will bat cleanup. Yandy Diaz will hit fifth. Melvin Upton Jr. is in right field batting sixth. Then Bradley Zimmer in center hits seventh. Eric Haas will do the catching this weekend. Greg Allen, switch hitting left fielder, will bat ninth. Pitch in there for a strike.
Yeah, Quintana, we know, a guy that is not afraid to pitch right-handers inside. A good changeup, good command, good control.
Struck out over 200 in his 188 innings last year with only 61 walks. And that's what we remember so frequently in Chicago. He's not going to fool around, doesn't put extra guys on base.
Right. Well, since joining the Cubs last year in July, he went 7-3. He was the king of the no decisions for the White Sox. They couldn't score him runs.
Rajay fouls it out of play to the right. Arch, it's amazing when you look at how good Quintana has been. A .353 career earned run average. And that's almost all of it in the American League. And yet his career record is 57 wins, 57 losses.
He's at 500. I mean, he was the ultimate tough luck pitcher for a while there. But, you know, when he was going to be traded, there were a lot of teams that were interested in him.
Swung on and missed. He strikes him out. One upstairs, 2 down.
Let's check out that defense for the Cubs. It'll be Zagunis in left field, Hanneman in center, Hayward over in right. Bryant is at third, Russell at short, Bodie is at second, Rizzo at first, and our old buddy Chris Jimenez is doing the catching.
Up comes Jason Kipnis. Hard to get any hotter than he has been in the month of March. His Cactus League season has seen him tear it up. 16 hits and 34 at bats. And 6 of the 16 hits have been for homers. Down low. 1 ball, 1 strike. I suppose the one thing you'd have to wonder about from the outside looking in at Quintana, last year his ERA for the season was over 4. And that would be of some concern, wondering, has he sort of maybe started to lose it a little bit? Swung on and missed.
Well, he's not afraid to throw fastballs. He throws a lot of them. But I'll tell you what, durable. He joins his teammate John Lester as the only lefties to start at least 32 games in the last 5 years. So he is durable. He goes out there, he doesn't miss his turn.
Kipnis bloops one into left, and that's going to drop for a hit. So the Indians have a 2-out base runner here in the first.
Number 32, Mike Napoli.
Sounded like it got inside on him. He just fights it off the other way. No, he just took it the other way. That ball was elevated a little bit, so he was trying to stay on everything he had and shoot him the other way, and he did. Gets the base hit.
Yeah, here's Mike Napoli. If you missed the story, Mike Napoli signed with the Indians on a non-roster invitation to spring training. Basically just an opportunity to play and for other teams to get a look at Nap. The Indians DH first base slots are basically filled up, and unless there's an injury there's really no chance for him to make the Indians ball club. But there's such a respect and admiration mutually between the Napoli and Terry Francona specifically, but the organization as a whole, that They felt this was a good move to bring him in, help him with some of the young players.
Yes, and it gives him an opportunity for other clubs to see him in spring training.
Knapp skies one on the infield. Third baseman Chris Bryant is there. And the side is retired. No runs, a hit, a man left. The Cubs are coming to bat when we come back.
Goodbye sweater, goodbye hat, goodbye.
It's turn to make a start and face the Cubs in the bottom half of the first inning. They're 10-5 last year in AAA, and you can see with the Indians 2-0 in 4 starts.
Faced the Toronto Blue Jays in the deciding game of the American League Championship Series that got the Indians into the Fall Classic, but did not pitch in that World Series against the Chicago Cubs. David Bote will lead it off for Chicago. Swings at the first pitch, and that's extra bases. Down into the left field corner. Bote on his way to second. And he pulls in with a leadoff double.
Wastes no time. Got a pitch to his liking, and it kept it inside the bag at third base.
Bote's put himself in a position to be an extra utility guy during the season if the need arises for the Cubs. Anthony Rizzo will follow Chris Bryant, the local kid. Addison Russell hitting cleanup. Hayward, Jimenez, Zagunis, Hanneman, Quintana rounded out for the Cubs. In there for a strike. This big league weekend here in Las Vegas is an annual event. The Cubs have played in every single one they've had, which is over 20 years. Last year, the final game of that brief 2-game series, they scored 22 runs. And there's a base hit in the left. Bote stops at third. This is a park that, because of the dimensions and the wind factor alone, it can produce a ton of runs.
Yeah, it plays small out here because the ball will carry. It's a changeup, but it was off the end of the bat. But he was able to get enough of it to get it through and into left field. So Bote moves up. Bryant gets a single. It's first and third now with nobody out.
We've talked about it before. Ryan Merritt, 26 years old. He is out of options, which means he's got to make the club out of spring training, or the Indians would have to potentially lose him.
Yeah, well, it comes down to a numbers game now. How many pitchers are they going to take in the bullpen when they leave, Matt? Who knows? Is it going to be 7? Is it going to be 8? They've got some interesting, decisions to make here in the next few weeks.
Nice curveball, but it just missed inside.
Because you don't consider a Merritt maybe a bullpen guy. He's a starting pitcher.
And there are no openings currently in the rotation.
Right.
And Danny Salazar is a guy who could be in that rotation, but he is still working his way back from a shoulder injury. Rizzo, ground ball to second, could be two. Kipnis gets the out with Lindor on the return throw. Napoli digs it out. And the Indians do turn two. Bodie scores from third, and the Cubs take a 1-0 lead. That's Ryan Merritt in a nutshell right there.
Yeah, you certainly... You'll trade that 2 for 1. You give up the run, but boy, you get the double play, and that's what he was looking for.
Looked like the Cubs could be poised for a huge inning. He gets the double play, minimizing the damage. The storylines, as we mentioned, Ryan Merritt and outfield additions or auditions. A little bit of both. Addison Russell taking a called strike. Another one of the game's really good young shortstops. Powers one. Deep center field. Zimmer looking up. It is gone. Addison Russell with a solo shot. It's a 20-foot wall. Foul pole to foul pole here at Cashman Field. 328 down the lines, 364 to the alleys, and that one was a little bit beyond the 364 mark. It's 433 to straightaway center field.
Well, that ball was hit right down. I mean, it was thrown right down the middle, so he took advantage of it. He did not miss it and hit a line shot and hit it out of here.
2-0 Chicago. Jason Hayward. And a breaking ball in there for a strike. Chops it foul. Baseball players, young or old, one thing they always learn early on is don't worry about things that are beyond your control. And for Ryan Merritt, he can't worry about the fact that he's out of options and there might not be a spot for him, because if he worries about that, it could affect his performance. But he is only human after all. Strike 3 called. Hayward punched out, and the inning is over. But the Cubs get a couple of runs on 3 hits. They lead it 2-0 after 1.
Your friend orders a fried.
Of Las Vegas, out near Summerlin, you'll find Red Rock National Park.
Out near Summerlin, that's where they're going to build the new ballpark for the 51s, is out in Summerlin, and that should be available next year. They just broke ground, I think, a couple of weeks ago.
That guy was breaking ground earlier. Jose Quintana goes to work with a 2-0 lead here in the second. Yandy Diaz to lead it off. And a fastball strike. Yandy's had a good spring. 10 hits, 28 at-bats. Good for a .357 average. He hit a grand slam in Goodyear on a ball that, not surprisingly, went out to deep right field. You talk about guys who are dead pull hitters. He's a dead opposite field hitter.
Yeah, he stays back on the baseball, sees it a long time. I mean, he has a good eye at the plate, but he waits and waits as a hitter.
You know, Rick, with Jim Thome going into the Hall of Fame this year, I think about Yandy Diaz because of Thome, who always stayed on the ball as a young hitter. And if you can do that with success, you can teach him eventually to maybe open up and pull the ball.
Well, you know what? He just needs at bats to figure it out. You know, the more he gets at the major league level, it certainly would help. But, you know, he's not going to play third with the Ramirez over there. Kip's at second. So, you know, he's going to have to go down and play every single day and work on that stroke.
Popped up, foul ground, playable for Rizzo. He makes the catch one away. And by no means am I saying Yandy Diaz is going to become Jim Thome. Just the point being that if you can stay on the ball and hit it for a good average, you should be able to eventually open up.
You'll learn how to pull a ball and get, you know, your work counts. You get to know it a little bit more.
Melvin Upton Jr. Talked about the outfield additions or auditions. Well, Melvin Upton Jr. and Rajay Davis both looking for an opportunity to make this club, especially with the injuries to Brandon Guyer, who has just now progressed to batting practice.
Yeah.
And Michael Brantley, look, Tito's kind of tired of being asked about it. And when he's ready to play, he'll play, but they're just not there yet. Problem is, everybody wants to know, well, when? Well, they don't know yet.
Right, and they always.
But everything's good. Everything's progressing nicely. Michael is like a caged lion. He wants to get out there and go, but they don't want to overdo it and risk a setback.
No, because once he starts playing, they want to get him for 140 games this year.
Let me jump in real quick. Michael Brantley did play today. Just talked to Tito. He was 2 for 2 with the home run. Brandon Guyer actually played as well. He was 3 for 3 as they played in minor league games back in Goodyear today.
That's good news.
Tito wants to wait, go day by day on Brantley. He's not going to play every day. Maybe on Monday back in Goodyear they'll get him back on. And then Tuesday's an off day, and they're going to keep him in minor league games probably for the next week or so.
Well, the good thing is he's playing.
Yes. And swinging the bat really well. I don't know if
well, he always swings it well, you know, when he plays.
Right. It's not like last year, though, when he wasn't able to do that. He's been able to hit the entire time, all of spring training.
2-2 pitch, strike 3 call. 2 down, and it looks like vintage Jose Quintana so far here today.
Well, here again, he throws that pitch inside. It's almost like a cutter where it runs inside on the corner. He thought it was a little inside, but you see it could have tied him up. That's what makes Quintana so effective, because he makes the right-handers conscious of the inside part of the plate, and it opens up that outside part for him as well.
Bradley Zimmer. He takes a strike. And Quintana gets ahead 0-2. Bounced in there.
Change the eye level right there. He's been throwing a lot of guys upstairs, inside. Elevating that fastball. But then again, Chris Jimenez doing the catch, and he knows this Indians lineup as well as anybody when he was with Minnesota last year. And still trying to make it as a backup for the Cubs this year.
Those who follow the club closely feel like he has a very good chance to be the Cubs backup catcher this year.
He's like a cat. He has 9 lives. He always lands on his feet somewhere.
Breaking ball struck him out. Quintana has fanned 3 in 2 scoreless innings of work. Cubs lead it 2-0.
On the baseball field, I'm
back here at Cashman Field in Las Vegas, Nevada. Matt Underwood, Rick Manning, Andre Knott. You know, Arch, if there's a city in America that doesn't need any extra hype, it's Las Vegas.
Exactly.
And yet this weekend, in addition to the Indians-Cubs big league weekend, which is a big deal here, place is sold out, you've got March Madness going on, and it's St. Patrick's Day. This place is up for grabs wherever you walk, wherever you go.
They've been filing in for a while. Yeah, it's very busy right now.
Chris Jimenez leading off for Chicago. Checks on a ball that's low. He did not go. 1 ball, 1 strike. Swung out and missed. Merritt stayed right with it, and Jimenez swung over the top of it.
Yep. Put that changeup in a very good spot, down and away. Praise on that hitter's anxiousness.
If you haven't seen Ryan Merritt pitch before, he is constantly in motion. He gets the throw back from the catcher, and he goes right into, may not do it every single pitch, but he's stretching, he's moving, arms are going up in the air. Reached for it, taps it, stays alive.
Well, he knows what he has to do. I mean, that's his style. He never tries to overthrow. He knows himself. And he's got to hit his spots. I mean, we watch him from the left side. He does it very well. Tomlin, the same way. You know, nowadays, everybody's used to seeing guys throw the power fastballs and the hard sliders. But, man, you can really trick hitters and keep them off stride. And that's the key to pitching, is to mess with a hitter's balance.
Swung on and missed. He struck him out. 1 down. Second K for Merritt.
Looked like the fastball after throwing him changeups, but you could see he kept it down, a good spot, located it, and gets the strikeout.
Mark Zagunis. He's in left field today for the Cubs. 1 down, bases empty. Bottom of the second. Chicago out to an early 2-0 lead.
Yeah, these two teams will play a home and home series against each other. There'll be a 2-game set at Progressive Field April 24th and 25th. And then the Indians will travel to Chicago, Wrigley Field, on May 22nd and 23rd.
Whoop to center. Could be a tough play. Zimmer can't get there. That might have been one of those plays where he sees the big swing, but didn't realize it was off the end. Didn't get a great jump on it.
Well, Indians baseball from spring training is always live with MLB At Bat. The app will keep you connected every day with live radio calls, video highlights, stats, breaking news, and more. You can download the app at Bat Now. It's your #1 Indians app.
One out base runner for Jacob Hanneman. Hanneman, a non-roster invite. Taking a called strike. Hit well, deep to left. Allen's back. He's out of room. It's out of here. A 2-run homer. And it's 4-0 Chicago.
You could almost tell when that ball left the bat that it was going to have the distance. It sounded the crack of the bat. He stayed on it nicely. And you can see it shooting the other way. And with the wind blowing out, it's going to make this park play very small.
And so with one out, the pitcher, Jose Quintana. This is one of those unusual situations that you only see in spring training. The Cubs are a National League team. They want their pitchers to get some at-bats, but the Indians, their pitchers don't bat that often, so they're using the DH today.
To me, that's what makes sense. And this is the way I think it should be like all year long when you're on interleague play. If the National League wants to hit their pitcher, let them go ahead. Why should the pitchers have to hit just rarely? You know, when you go into a National League town. I don't like it. And then you get into an American League town, and, you know, they can DH. To me, they have the advantage.
Bodie drills it to deep center, and it's off the wall. Zimmer plays it well. His strong throw to second base, not in time. Well, David Bodie is 2 for 2 with a pair of doubles, and the Cubs have already wrapped out 6 hits here today.
I'll tell you what, Bodie has seen 2 pitches and has 2 doubles, and that one was, I mean, a bullet off the right center field wall. He has the high leg kick, and right now Ryan Merritt leaving the ball upstairs, and they are putting good swings on it. You can't play it much better than what Zimmer did in center field there.
Now Chris Bryant singled through the hole on the left side of the infield his first time up. Down low, ball 1. You know, I was saying before, Ryan's aware of his situation, and it may be out of his control, but you wonder, is he ever at times pressing to try and impress other scouts from other organizations who may be watching? You never know what goes through a guy's head.
I mean, the good thing that happens is that he is out of options, because you know what? This is one of the toughest pitching staffs to break into in the league. It's got one of the best pitching staffs there. You know, so I don't think he's trying to impress other people. Well, maybe he is. I mean, I can't say that, but you know, all he can do is his best out there. And I see what you're saying. I guess he would be the only one to be able to answer that question.
Yeah.
And I mean, and do it honestly.
I'm sure if you ask him today, he'd just tell you flat out, I just left the ball up, made some location mistakes.
Right.
Because with Ryan, that's the key.
It's all about location, yes, and changing speeds. He knows it. Yeah, when you're throwing, you know, 90 miles an hour tops, you have to hit your spots, because mistakes you cannot make.
Well, Ryan Merritt has struck out 3 in 2 innings of work, but the Cubs, with a couple of home runs against them, lead it 4-0. game to Las Vegas Strip. It is lit up. Doesn't matter what time of night you walk down that street, it feels like it's the middle of the afternoon with all the neon.
You could get a tan at about 2 in the morning.
A little neon tan. I like it. Eric Haas. Bright future for this young man. He's had a good spring. And by that, I mean just working his way in there. I mean, it's kind of a big thrill for him to come over here and be the Indians catcher for these 2 games.
Well, he's put up some pretty big power numbers. What, he had 26 homers last year. And I'll tell you what, from what we've seen defensively, behind the plate, it looks like he catches and he throws it well. He caught one game our last time we were on television, made a really nice throw to second base.
Sandy Alomar says of Eric Haas, he's a really good receiver. You get that kind of a compliment from Sandy, that's saying something.
Yeah, Sandy was telling us about him last year, saying he thinks this kid's going to be a really good catcher.
Tito praised him also earlier in spring. The weather wasn't that great early in spring. It was a little chilly. And he said Eric Haas was the informal MVP of one of the games. He said he sat the whole game there. Got, you know, you're not really that loose. He got a chance to go in the game, and he said he hit 2 bullets in his first 2 at bat. Didn't waste any time. Stung the ball really well. In off the plate. Full count.
Copy. Whatever you.
Here's the wide and the payoff pitch. And strike 3 called. Haas thought it was borderline, felt it was ball 4.
Yep.
Doug Eddings been a little generous today with the strike calling.
I'll tell you what, I mean, he went in there on the 2-2 to get him to swing, and there's one right there. It was just one of those pitches he felt it was inside, and that if he gets that pitch, that's going to be a tough day if you're a right-handed hitter. Because you're right, that might be running in off the plate, and the minute you start swinging at it, you're not going to hit it. If you do, it won't be fair.
Here's Greg Allen, switch hitter, batting 9th. On the spring, Greg 9 out of 27, good for a .333 average. A couple of doubles, a triple. He's driven in a half dozen. There's a good pitch in for a strike. Ground ball to short. Russell has to hurry. He took a little too much time, and Allen is called out. Boy, it looked like he beat that play, but first base umpire says he's out, 2 down. Looked like Russell might have taken just a little too much time before unloading it, but he ends up getting it.
You don't realize how fast he can get down that line. It's just a routine play. He gobbled it up, and then, you know, that's sort of like a panic play when you're out there as an infielder and you see that runner's almost to first base and you got to uncork it. The next time he won't mess around. He'll get to it and get rid of it as quickly as possible if Allen's running.
Yeah, it was like he just shuffled one step too many. Almost cost him.
He thought he had just a little more time than what he had.
He'll come in the dugout now and say, who's that fast guy?
Yeah, he got down there about 4.1 from the right side of the plate. That's that crossfire he pitches, it looks like, from the first base side, and he comes inside to the right-handers, and they want the ball out away from him.
Tied him up 1-2. Lindor grounded to third his first time up. Off-speed pitch, struck him out. 5 Ks in 3 scoreless one-hit innings for Jose Quintana. Vegas, Nevada. You get off the strip, and there's some beautiful terrain. Similar, really,
to Phoenix?
To Phoenix, in that area.
With the mountains
Arizona.
and things like that. Yes, it is.
St. Patrick's Day. Anthony Rizzo to lead off for Chicago. Long fly ball, deep center. Zimmer back, and he'll play off the wall, a short hop. And Rizzo into second base with a leadoff double.
Well, he made the good pitch to Rizzo the first time when he had first and third and nobody out got the double play ball, but he jumps on his first pitch and drives it. And there's another pitch that was up and a little bit out over the plate where he didn't get it away enough. Rizzo put a good swing on it, and Zimmer pulled up like he should have. He was wanting to go catch that ball. Did you see him right at the end pull up and say, I'll play it on the short hop, and rightfully so.
Sometimes in spring training, you don't know if it's just because it's spring training or if it's their approach. But these guys have been very aggressive against Ryan Merritt.
They should be. He just hasn't hit his spots. His control has not been there.
Addison Russell smoked a home run to just to the left of center field his first time up. Ground ball up the middle, it's through. And Rizzo thought Lindor was going to get to it, so he was headed back to second. He will make it to third. And the Cubs have runners at the corners with nobody out.
Yeah, he's given up at least 2 hits in every inning so far. Now, this is what he didn't know. Right there, that was a mistake by Rizzo, not knowing where the fielder was playing behind him. You see, he had him over in the hole to play him to pull. He thought he was straight away. That's why he went back to second base. But he's still able to get to third.
But as a base runner, is that also where a player's reputation can get inside your head? You think, well, that's Lindor back there. He might be able to get to that ball.
Yes, it is. But he's got to know where he's playing before that pitch is even made.
Jason Hayward struck out his first time up, and he aggressively chops one into center field. Zimmer bobbles it. Rizzo scores. Russell to third. 5-0 Chicago. 3 straight hits to open the inning.
Well, you said they're getting aggressive. They're not going to let him get strike one, and there's the first pitch. This one had top spin, and it shoots right through this infield. But there again, a pitch that is not to his liking. You can see the big spin on it, and it's sort of that spin ate up Bradley Zimmer in the outfield. But right now, 9 hits already, and they're in the third inning and do not have an out.
No action as of yet in the Cleveland bullpen. Chris Jimenez struck out his first time up.
You mentioned this is just like a home game for the Cubs because they play here every year, and they have been in the last 2 games. You mentioned that the last time they played here last year, 22 runs. It was 11 runs the first game of that 2-game series last year. I think they come here to get healthy offensively is what they do.
You mentioned it, though, on that ball that was chopped up the middle. One of the criticisms that Cashman Field has heard in recent years, especially from players, is that the infield is so rock hard.
Yeah.
That.
Well, it's like a lot of the Cactus League fields. You know, they get hard. They get baked by the sun.
But imagine you're playing here all summer long.
Oh, no. This would be one of those things where it's tough to throw. If you, as a pitcher, I think get a feel for the ball, throw the breaking ball because it's slick and it's a light air. You know, a lot like Arizona.
Good off-speed pitch, and Jimenez for the second time today down on strikes. 4 Ks for Ryan Merritt. 1 down. Mark Zagunis singled the center in the second inning. A blooper off the end of the bat. Came around to score on the homer by Jacob Hanneman, who's on deck now. Breaking ball dips low. This is one of those situations too, Rick. If you're a middle infielder and he gets a ground ball, if you're the guy taking the throw at second, Jason Hayward must look like a train coming your way. He's off and running. Throw down to second. Kipnis gets the tag down and a safe call. Close.
Well, I want to see. He had a very good jump. That's why I say that I'll tell you, Haas made another very good throw. He had a great jump. Does Kipnis tag him is my question. See, he's looking back, and once he realized he swings through it, there's the. No, he beat it, and he never tagged him. But he did get the hand in, even if he did tag him. That's a big man.
Yes,
he stretches a long way.
He's got to look like an all-pro wide receiver coming down the line.
That's like I maybe a little bit heavier and filled out like a Bradley Zimmer. You know, the big guy with the long arms that creates a lot of force going into the base.
So second and third with 1 out. In the air. Deep left center. Zimmer back on the track, and it is gone. Just did clear the wall. And the Cubs have homered for the 3rd time in as many innings. This a 3-run shot. It's a 4-run inning for Chicago. And that, for the second time today, that's a ball where the short dimensions of this field have come into play.
Yeah, and once again, if you look at it, it's a good pitch to swing at. Away, it gives him swinging room. And you can see it just flies out here. Look at Zimmer's reaction. He can't believe he's got to stop. Just play deep and cut across, I guess, today. It's one of those things with the wind blowing out.
It's almost like a green monster all the way around.
Yeah. He hasn't thrown a lot of good pitches right there. So
bullpen getting busy right now for Cleveland.
10 hits, Matt, 8 runs here in 3, actually 2 1/3 innings.
Leandro Linares getting loose for Cleveland.
Center fielder,
Jacob Hanneman. He had a 2-run homer his first time up. It was an opposite field shot.
Well, and 6 of the 10 hits are extra base hits. You mentioned the 3 home runs. They also have 3 doubles. There you go. You've got to start pitching inside a little bit more, leaving things out over the plate. And he did the first time to Hanneman, who stayed on it nicely and hit one out to left.
Deep center again. Zimmer back, looking up, and it is off the wall for a double.
Yeah, this is actually turning into batting practice.
That didn't miss getting out of here.
No, it
again.
went up off the Nevada State bank. It went above, I think that.
Oh, is that an extra part of the fence out there?
I think it is.
Okay, I thought that was maybe a backdrop behind the fence.
I think it's an extra part of the fence, and I think that's where it hit. Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, that hit just about a foot away from getting over that. So that's an extra 3 feet up there, I think.
So it's 433 to straightaway center, plus you got a little extra.
He needed every inch.
Zimmer grabs this one, 2 down. And that was the pitcher, Jose Quintana.
Look at Zimmer saying, I've had enough, man. I've been running all over the place. I can't catch anything. That's the first one he's been able to catch.
That can't be much fun, and you can speak from experience. You're an outfielder. You want to have the ability to make a catch. When you've got fences this short, you're just
but
you're kind of turning and watching it off the wall every time.
There's some games like that where it doesn't matter. You're going to go bolting from gap to gap and never come up with anything. Come up empty.
The name Rick Waits bring anything to mind?
No.
David Bodie has been aggressive, and he has hit 2 doubles already today on 2 pitches. So he has seen as many pitches in this at-bat now that he did in his first 2 ABs total. One ball and 2 strikes. 8 runs on 11 hits already for Chicago. Pop back in. That's out of play. Swung on and missed. Ryan Merritt gets his 5th strikeout in 3 innings of work. But in between, the Cubs have really teed off. They've hit 3 home runs and lead it 8-0.
Your friend.
Field in Las Vegas, Nevada. Big league weekend. Matt Underwood, Rick Manning, Andre Knott with you, and we're happy to be joined now by Rossi Rollencutter, who's the CEO of the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority. Thank you for coming by. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for being here.
Well, it's certainly a great city, obviously. Many of our viewers, I'm sure, have been here one time or another to maybe place a wager or catch a show. But this is now, Rossi, really becoming a dynamite sports town as Rajay Davis is robbed by Chris Bryant for out number one. You've got Las Vegas Golden Knights who've taken the NHL by storm. You'll have the Raiders here before long in the NFL. You've got a soccer team and a new baseball ballpark coming soon.
Right, next year you'll be at the new ballpark, and we also have the Las Vegas Aces in the WNBA. So Las Vegas keeps reinventing itself and finding other ways to bring people here, and sports has been the next evolution. And now with the Vegas Golden Knights and with the Raiders coming in and WNBA, it really is focusing on us and what we have here.
Well, you said we will be there next year. Do you know something that we do not yet?
Well, maybe I do. Maybe I do.
Say,
I can work on things, so can see something to happen.
We'd love coming back here.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, well, we'd love to have you here, and on everybody from Cleveland. There's a lot of people from Cleveland who live here, so it's a great time for them to see the Indians.
Rossi, who do I see about the money I lost last night?
I'll give you a number later.
No, certainly Las Vegas. Look, you've got the raceway, the speedway, which we can see is out beyond center field. That race just concluded, I think, a week or so ago. Another line drive and another out. 2 down. What kind of tell our audience back home in Cleveland, Ohio, and throughout northeastern Ohio, what is the sports makeup from what you can tell of the folks here? Because a lot of folks, there are some folks now born and raised here, but there are a lot of transplants here too.
Always. I've been here almost all my life, but moved here from northern Kentucky, right across the river from Cincinnati. We were Browns fans, now we're Bengals and Reds fans, and you do see that. So that's why when you go to a professional game someplace, you'll see a lot of different team insignias and logos and stuff, and that makes it exciting and dynamic.
There's Mike Napoli taking a called strike.
And you see that at the Vegas night games, because when they'll play Montreal, for example,
yes,
about 30% of the people there are rooting for Montreal, which really makes it, a real charged atmosphere.
What they are having some kind of a year, aren't they, for an expansion team to come in here and just take it by storm? One of the best ever, huh?
Ever. Well, they have the record now for most home wins and most road wins. So they have done fantastic, and
you're spoiled in the very first year.
Exactly right.
Now
So,
you're expecting them to go deep into the the playoffs of the Stanley Cup.
That's true. That is true. And then March Madness going on right now. Another great activity for everybody.
Yeah, we were talking about it earlier, how this town is hyped up with everything going on. This baseball game, March Madness, and just a natural weekend here in Las Vegas in springtime, on spring break, mind you.
2 balls and a strike to count for Mike Napoli. Up high with a heater, 2-2.
So you're a Cincinnati Reds fan, then?
Cincinnati Reds fan, yes, but I root for the teams that are here too.
No,
so,
I understand.
Yeah, Reds
absolutely.
Fan.
You grew
Big
up
Red.
down in Kentucky, so
Yeah.
it makes sense. You saw the Big Red Machine.
Big Red Machine.
Yes, indeed. A fun team to watch, wasn't it?
They were a great ball club. Yes. Talking about the sports stuff that's going on. 2 weeks ago, we had 4 college basketball tournaments. We had a UFC fight. We had the Golden Knights playing. We had the NASCAR race. So there's something. Of course, we have 150,000 rooms to fill every day. So, but there was something for everybody.
Something for everybody, and something always to do.
3-2 pitch swung on and missed. We'll continue with Rossi Rollencutter. Right after this, we come back to Vegas. 8-0 Cubs. Middle of the 4th. visiting with Rossi Rollencotter, CEO of the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority. And before today's game, he had a little help thrown out the first pitch.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, that's members of my staff.
Okay.
Yes.
It's good-looking staff. How'd that pitch go for you?
It was straight.
Change up?
No, it was straight.
Did you practice trying to go out knowing you were going to throw out the first pitch?
I only had 10 minutes notice because our chairman of the board called and said, "You're
is
doing
that
it."
right?
Yes.
You're doing it no matter what.
No matter
you're
what,
going.
you're doing
Okay,
it.
that's
Yeah.
okay. Not a bad job. You didn't have
Yeah.
much time to think about it.
Didn't think about it. Nope.
Well, here's
that's
a
probably
hometown,
better off.
hometown kid here. What do we got here?
I don't know. He's still.
Oh, the public address announcer's microphone was left open. Evidently. Either that or was it our guys from Chicago? Was it Jim DeShays and
I think
Lenny
it was.
Casper? Their mics
Yeah.
were bleeding over the PA. Well, here's the hometown kid I was going to ask Roski about. Chris Bryant, whose dad coaches here. He coached some young players like Joey Gallo. So that's kind of a neat deal for the folks here.
It's fantastic, and he's great in the community. Comes back and really gives himself to Las Vegas and represents Las Vegas in a great way. Yeah, and plus he's a great baseball player.
Yes, he is. And just starting his career, really.
And I've seen him around, you know, the little kids and the fans and everything, and he's very, very cordial, very friendly.
Bryce Harper from here as well.
And Bryce Harper.
These guys played together in Little League. Bryant and Harper, and I think, you know,
They had to be a pretty
Brian's
good team.
Oh, you think? Whether they pitched or not.
That's for sure.
Zach McAllister, the new pitcher for the Indians. Rough day for Ryan Merritt. He went 3 innings, charged with 8 runs on 11 hits. McAllister fires, and Bryant chops one to short. Lindor will throw him out. So, Mr. Rollencotter, I was really amazed. I love numbers, but over 40 million people visit Las Vegas every year. That's just staggering to me.
All right, actually, we call 42 million fans and friends. So, and, you know, they love Las Vegas and they have an affinity for us, and that's what makes it successful. And we're a city that evolved to host people. We deliver on that promise, and we make everyone feel happy, and we deliver on that brand promise with all of them. And so it's an exciting place to be, and it keeps providing entertainment for everyone.
The amazing thing, too, that was on that stat sheet there, the occupancy of the hotels, because when you see the size of these hotels and how many there are, that you can have a 90% occupancy rate,
right,
you know, over the course of the year. It's mind-boggling.
150,000 rooms, and it's 90% plus.
Yeah,
and
right.
we've for 23 straight years we've been the #1 trade show convention city in America.
Right.
So that's also been, you know, a tribute to all of the people in the hotel and all the workers. 40% of our people work in the industry who live in Las Vegas, and they do a fantastic job.
You said something earlier, though. It's a city that's constantly reinventing itself. I mean, when you think back a long time ago, the original sort of idea of Las Vegas was a stopover point for GIs headed to the West Coast. And it's changed so many times. I mean, I haven't been here, I think it's been maybe 10 years. I can't believe how much different it looks just in that short time period. Ground ball in the hole, another base hit for the Cubs, Addison Russell.
Yeah, most definitely. I've been there 45 years, and at that time, 75% of the revenue was in gaming and 25% in non-gaming. Now it's 40% gaming and 60% non-gaming. And so because we did evolve and built all these different things, you had to provide something for the visitors, and they keep the entrepreneurs and the corporations keep finding those ways. Esports, now we're going to have a new facility at Luxor in about a month for esports, and so that happens. And I tell people we'll have a Super Bowl now at some time because of the Raiders, and it'll be called the Super Bowl in Las Vegas.
You're right, it would be.
Smashed into right field. Chicago is having a field day with the bats so far. The bases are loaded with 1 out here in the 4th. I would imagine, you know, on one hand, it's got to be kind of easy to lure people to Las Vegas for conventions or whatever the case may be. You just pick up the phone. Las Vegas is calling. It's not a hard sell, but yet there is competition for those dollars, whether it be conventions or sports teams or whatever the case may be. So you still have to Still got to work your magic, don't you?
Most definitely. Yes, we do.
They're loaded up with 1 out.
Yeah, we compete for the discretionary dollar, but our industry is a tremendously competitive industry, both nationally, internationally. We're competing against countries and competing against other cities that have great facilities. And so it's a very, no city sells itself, and you have to be out there every single day. We're booking the year 2030 right now.
No kidding. That far out, well over 10 years in advance.
We have $13 billion worth of convention business on our books through the year 2030.
Wow.
But you have to do that. That's how you stay competitive.
I hope we're on the books for 2030.
I'm working on it.
Chris Jimenez, the former Indian, batting with the bases loaded. And 1 out, takes a strike from Zach McAllister, and he's in the hole, 1-2.
Right now, Zach with an opportunity, a chance for a punch out, which he's looking for when you can get to the 1-2 count. Make a pitch here, try and keep him stranded.
The 1-2 pitch. Popped up foul. Might be playable. Let's see. Napoli back to home plate. Got there. What a play. Tagging coming home is Rizzo, but the throw not in time.
It's a heads-up play by Rizzo.
They got a pinch
runner for him. Yeah, it wasn't Rizzo. But anyway, he ended up scoring, and that was a nice job. Napoli made a nice play down the line to make the catch. But as a runner, you stay right there, and if he's catching, he's going away from the play. Look at Napoli. So it takes him 4 or 5 steps to really stop, gain his momentum before he can throw. And that's a nice sacrifice fly because of a good heads-up play.
And there are 2 down in the inning as Chicago extends their lead to 9-0. In there for a strike to Mark Zagunis. Well, we're visiting with Rossi Rollencotter of the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority. And before the inning wraps up, he's a veteran, served in the Air Force. You've been here over 6 years. We want to thank you for coming on and thank you for your service to our country so many years ago. And I'm sure you see a lot of servicemen still stopping by Vegas once in a while.
You do, because we also have Nellis Air Force Base out here and Creech Air Force Base, which is where the drones go and land and take off and do what they do. And the F-35s are out here at Nellis, so we're a big military town too on top of everything else. And so we really recognize their importance to our country.
And of course the ball club that plays here, they're the Las Vegas 51s, right?
Right.
You got any inside information there on Area 51 for us?
Where? What is that again?
Dang, I thought I had him.
Yeah, that's the Mets affiliate, the AAA team, right?
Right.
Now, are they locked in to go to that new stadium next year?
No, they're going to go to their new AAA facility or city. The Nets bought AAA and the American Association, I think. And so they'll be going there. So we'll have a new affiliate with the PCL. So, yeah.
Rossi, thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
All right. Hope to see you next year.
Thanks for hosting us.
Okay. Have a good time. Have fun. Okay.
Get access to our summer season ticket autograph party and plenty more with a Tribe season ticket plan. You can get 20, 40, or 81 game plans. They're available. Don't miss out on all the action. Just go to Indians.com.
Yandy Diaz, Melvin Upton Jr., and Bradley Zimmer due up for the Tribe here in the 5th.
He's taken a lot of fastballs on that inside part of the plate early in his at-bat. He did the first time, too. He took 2 strikes. I'd be looking for that first fastball inside if I'm right-handed against Quintana the way he's been throwing. That's not the one you want to swing at.
He swings over the top. Quintana with another strikeout. 7th K of the afternoon.
The best pitch in that at-bat that he saw was the very first pitch that he took for a strike, and then he went after the 2 breaking balls.
Back out of play. Chicago has made a host of defensive changes. We'll try to catch up on those as we go along here. Melvin Upton Jr. 0 for 1, called out on strikes his only time up. Mentioned before, Cashman Field, it's in its final year. They're opening a new ballpark next year. This ballpark opened back in 1983, so it's the 2nd oldest ballpark in the Pacific Coast League. How does that make you feel?
Yeah.
1983 is the 2nd oldest ballpark already?
Yeah.
Wow. Interestingly, though, in 1996, the Oakland A's played some of their home games here because they were renovating the Coliseum when the Raiders came back. Nice play on both ends to retire Upton 2 down. So they played their first 16 home games of the 1996 season here. And Tito back then was the third base coach for Buddy Bell.
Yeah, in Detroit.
And he was telling me they played a game here early. Might have been the first game of the year. I don't remember if he said they opened here, but it was early in the season. Tito said, I'm coaching third base. He said they hit a ball to right field, and they've got those big billboards on the outfield wall, and they're white. A lot of them are white. And he said, you can't see the ball when it gets up against that white part of the sign. He said, we had the bases loaded, and I couldn't find the ball. I lost the ball. And the base runners didn't know what to do, so they're running around. Well, the guy dove and caught the ball. He goes, it was either a double or a triple play. I don't remember exactly, but it wasn't good for me. I'm just starting out as a third base coach. Buddy Bell's looking at me like, what are you doing?
I'm thinking it was a triple play.
He said, all I know is we had the bases loaded, and after the guy caught the ball, the inning was over. Because guys were running all over the place. They started throwing it around.
Well, you know, that is something that it's a little different. You don't see the double billboards, you know, in the big leagues like that. And a lot of those, well, now in the new ballparks, the LED lights, I mean, you lose it in that, you know, from our vantage point looking out.
Zimmer, hard ground ball to first. Diving play by Caratini. The flip to Quintana. And the inning is over. Boy, Jose Quintana, I mean vintage. He has retired 13 in a row.
for $10 for kids 12 and under. It's with the purchase of an adult ticket, and it's located in the family deck out at Progressive Field. They're only available at Indians.com. And there's one climbing a tree right there. Trying to sneak in out in right field, I think.
Ripped deep right. It is off the top of the fence. Hanneman going for two. Brandon Barnes just into the game. His throw not in time. And Jacob Hanneman is 3 for 3 with a 2-run homer and now his second double.
I'll tell you what, they are hitting the ball with authority today. They have 5 doubles, 3 homers, and I mean that ball just missed going out here by about a foot at the top of the wall. It looked like it hit the 364 sign, which is above and beyond the wall. It hit the sign. That's the second one that was actually over the wall. The other one hit the Nevada State Bank sign in dead center. So these guys, I mean, have pounded the baseball. That's 14 hits.
Quintana showing bunt, pulls the bat back.
Watch it hit the sign. 364. Does it drill the 6?
Oh,
nope, the 4.
The top of it.
Yeah.
No, I think that should have been a home run. Can't be part
I
of
think that's in play. The other one in left center field's down on the wall.
Bunted hard to first. Napoli will tag Quintana. Well, he gets the job done because Hanneman goes to third.
It's 9-0, but Quintana's going to be asked to do that this year. That's why they're still working on it, bunting to try and get him over and get the job done. So I totally understand that. He did his job, and that's something they're going to want him to do. Good execution. Get the barrel of the bat out in front of home plate. Make sure you put it down softly as Napoli's charging. It gets the job done. Sacrifice that man to third base. Well done. He's had a good day.
I can't imagine there'll be many times, Joe Madden, unless it's a situation where you've got a big lead. If there's a runner at second base and nobody out, you're not going to have Quintana swinging away. He's going to be bunting.
Well,
so
unless it's 9-0 maybe during the year. You know, they wouldn't, I don't think, do that during the year. But he needs to practice that. He hit 2 line drives in his first 2 at-bats.
David Bodie has 2 hits, 2 doubles, and a run scored already. He takes low, 1-1. Call a strike. Cloudy and cool here in Las Vegas. Reached for it, gets it by McAllister. Kipnis looks the runner back at third, and there are 2 down. Well, we will be right back with you tomorrow with a 4 o'clock first pitch time as we wrap up this big league weekend here in Las Vegas. That'll be right here on Sports Time Ohio and streaming on Fox Sports Go. Jason Vosler came on for Chris Bryant. Off-speed pitch, he went around. Up high, chased it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. They don't have the outfield berm seating here like they do in the spring training ballparks, but in the left and right field corner areas, they have what amounts to berm seating for the overflow patrons.
But it's up on the high third.
Yeah.
part of it.
Strike 3 call. McAllister gets the punch out to retire the side, and the Cubs are held without a run for the first time today. California, or the Auto Club 400. Everybody out there will be chasing maybe Austin Dillon, who won the Daytona 500. What a race that was! Right to the wire. Nice to see Drew Brees checking in.
Yeah, there he is. Yeah, he's hanging out.
He just signed a new extension. I think he did.
Yes.
He got Rick Manning money to sign that deal. 2 years, $50 million. Eric Haas out on strikes his first time up. Leads it off for the Indians. Jose Quintana, 5 one-hit shutout innings. He has retired 13 in a row. You generally don't see guys this locked in, this sharp in a spring training game.
He's been very good today, throwing the right-handers inside. Now, in the last inning or two, he started to mix in that curveball a little bit more. He's throwing a few change-ups, but it's vintage. There he is. He goes inside with the hard stuff, and he forces you to try to pull that ball.
Nice play at third to retire Haas, one down. Let's go down to Andre.
About a week ago, the Indians sent Francisco Mejia back to the minors, basically so he could play some outfield and continue catching. But a lot of it plays into how Eric Haas has played as well. They like him as a catcher. They want him to continue developing. He was at Akron, and he and Mejia split time last year. They want him to catch. Mejia's still going to catch, but I think a lot of people have lost track of how good he is because we've talked about Mejia for so long. And Mejia's been very adaptive of saying, hey, I'll go to the outfield. Didn't really like playing third base that much, so
I don't blame him.
So he's going to go out to the outfield. And Tito said if his legs are good enough, they'll put him on the corners and let that arm play out in right field possibly.
Yeah, he no doubt, Andre, he has the arm and he has the bat. You know, so now that third base experiment didn't work out, so why not try him in the outfield?
And the other part of that, we've talked about all the outfielders that are here that may or may not come with the team.
Center field. Routine. Go ahead.
They would like his bat enough when it comes to Mejia that if there's an injury, rather than some of these other guys, it may be Mejia at some point in time this year that can come up and help them, you know, in the outfield position rather than some of the guys they have here.
Well, and this is one thing that the Indians do, man. The more positions you play, the better off, and they're just trying to cover all bases. And if this Haas is as good as they say he is, then that's why he's getting playing time behind the plate.
Well, they have the strength at catcher, and they have the strength at the shortstop position. You know, we talked about that a few weeks ago. And Tito said if you're going to have strength, he wants it up the middle, and he likes what they have right now.
Francisco Lindor, speaking of strength up the middle, the Indians double play combination of Lindor and Kipnis with Jose Ramirez over at third base now with Kipnis back in the fold. healthy. Tied him up. I mean to tell you, Rick, Quintana, he looks as good as we've ever seen him.
Yeah, I mean, he's always pitched, I think, well against the Indians, but they've always found a way to beat him, you know. But I'll tell you what, he's very good today, no question about it.
The games I can recall, rarely did the White Sox ever score when he pitched.
Right. You know, he matched up maybe against Kluber a few times, or always a good pitcher against the Indians, and they were able to shut down the White Sox offense. So they didn't get him more than 2 runs.
Well, I think we had the graphic earlier. 19 career starts against Cleveland. ERA under 3, and yet only 7 career wins.
Yeah.
The 2-2 pitch. Frankie stays alive.
Little change up away.
All right, here's the numbers. 19 starts, 2.74 ERA.
Yeah, and a 7-5 record.
7-5. So 12 decisions. That's actually not bad then for him. Mr. No decision, you know what I mean?
Right. But, I mean, that's just not the Indians. I'm sure that's other teams as well. But you know what? He's not overpowering. He's like 91, maybe 92. But he moves it around and he pitches inside, which makes it very effective. And he's not afraid to go in there, and he's got pretty good control, pinpoint control in and off that plate to the righties.
Slow hook struck him out. 8 Ks, 16 straight, retired by Quintana. National Hockey League. And just on the other side of that freeway, not too far down the road, will be the new future home of the Raiders when they relocate to Las Vegas.
The first baseman, Victor Caratini.
Victor Caratini leading off for Chicago. Another first ball swinging. Ground ball out this time. 1 down. Eric Staymet's into the ball game for the Indians. Taking over for Lindor. And this is the new shortstop, I do believe. Chesney Young. McAllister on for now a third inning of relief work. Came on in the fourth. A lot of run on a couple of hits. Scoreless fifth. Now pitching here in the sixth. Bullpen quiet for Cleveland for the moment. Strike three call. 2 down.
Well, 2018 Indian single game tickets are on sale now, and I'll tell you, for the weekend games, then they're going quickly. Dollar Dog Nights and other premier games, so you better make sure you get out and you get your tickets now. Don't wait too long, because you will not be able to get them, I think, once this season starts. Just go to Indians.com for the details.
Trey Martin came on for Jason Hayward. Fouls it out of play to the right. What do you think of those socks?
I'm not a fan.
It's a young kid thing.
That's okay. I mean, if he likes it, that's his style.
They're certainly festive for this St. Patrick's Day. I'll give him that.
Yes, they are. Got a little shamrock on it.
They'd have had those back in '75. You'd have been rocking them.
I don't think so. Had to wear your sanitaries, man. They didn't have just the tube socks back then. It was the sanitaries with the stirrups.
And you had to be over the calf, right, with the pant leg?
For the most part, yeah. Until George Hendricks started the tradition of the long pants. He was the very first to do it.
Way ahead of his time.
Yes, he was.
Martin jolts one to right, but playable for Barnes. Now coming in, makes the catch. Side retired in order for the first time today.
Six-packs are on sale now, including a new weekday afternoon option starting at just $99. You can make Progressive Field your office for the day. Six-packs also available for 6 Friday, Saturday, or Sunday games. Get yours at Indians.com.
Well, new pitcher for Chicago. Tough act to follow. Jose Quintana, brilliant today.
Yes, it is.
Carl Edwards Jr., really a stalwart performer out of that Chicago bullpen. 73 games last year, ERA under 3. 94 strikeouts in just 66 in the third innings. And he's got Rajay Davis, Jason Kipnis, and Mike Napoli due up. Up high, ball one.
Yeah, Edwards, a very explosive arm. When he gets loose, he can cut it loose with a good breaking ball.
Up high, 2-0. Rajay lets it rip. 2 balls and a strike. Raj came in 7 hits and 27 at bats on the spring. Couple of stolen bases. And that's a situation too where when you're a veteran base stealer, normally you wouldn't even worry about stealing bases in spring training. But when you come in as a non-roster guy, you have to show everything. You've got to show your whole game to prove to them that you can still do it all. Well, that's the dimension that he brought to this team, was the speed that really ignited it in 16. Ripped the left down the line. Foul ball by a foot. Too bad. He'd still be running. You know, and the amazing thing, at 37 years old, this guy keeps himself in shape. Those legs, he still has very good speed. He can still steal you bags, and it's hard when you get to that age, but he can certainly do it. And we're taking a look as this ball just misses the line. That would have been an automatic double. Yeah, he and Kenny Lofton. Boy, those are two guys that play a long time, and they always had their speed. Their legs were always under them. Keep those things healthy. You can play a long time. Breaking ball. Raj thought it was high. It's a called 3rd strike. 9 Ks for the Cub pitching staff. Take a look and see if it is upstairs. There's a peek. Well, 9-0 spring training. Too close to take. He was fooled by that breaking ball. Brings up Jason Kipnis. 1 out of 2 on the day. He singled back in the 1st inning. It's the only hit, the only base runner for the Indians. That's how good Quintana was here this afternoon. You go from Quintana, who was just on his game today, to Carl Edwards, who's lean and lanky and just has that explosive arm. Kipnis, line drive, base hit. He has both Indians hits here today, and that stops a string of 17 straight retired by the Cubs. Now, Kip had a pretty good swing. That ball elevated and able to get the barrel head of the bat out in front and pull it in the hole between 1st and 2nd. So he has been the Indians' offense, and his day is over. But it's a good sign that he has swung the bat so well this spring. You know, yes, I think it was key for him to come into spring training, feel good about himself, get a little confidence back. But the way he started, I don't think he could have planned it any better. I mean, he started with the long ball. Hit 6 homers in the first 6 games. Yeah. But, you know, and he said, and he'll be the first to tell you, when I come back and I'm healthy, I'm not worried about it. I'll be myself. And, you know, I'm sure he will. And I'm sure Michael Brantley will, too, when he gets back. And we talked about him earlier in this ball game, that he played a game today in Goodyear, went 2 for 2 and hit a home run. Mike Napoli pops one sky high right side, foul territory, and a long run for the second baseman, Bodie. He got there, but he seemed like he ran a quarter mile to get to it. Yeah, and he still had to go after it. And then all of a sudden he hits that slide, and he still had plenty of room to go. But, you know, you're playing at second, you're playing Knapp to pull a ball. So that was a long way to run for a second baseman to try and catch it, too. Yeah, he had over 100 feet to go to try and catch that ball. little bit off the plate, 1-2. Got on top of that one. Deep to left. Zaguna's back, looking up. Goodbye. Mike Napoli with a 2-run homer. Gets the Indians on the board here in the 7th.
I see Chris Jimenez shaking his head. That's where they wanted to pitch. I mean, you want to pitch Napoli upstairs, but I'll tell you what, he got on top of that one. He's usually a dead low ball hitter, and you throw the fastball by him upstairs, but not that time. And Jimenez is looking back, shaking his head to Edwards. Watch. So, wow. You know what? You tip your cap right there. He hit a heck of a pitch. And you see that top hand just roll over on it? And that thing just flew out of here.
Don't see him do that a lot, as you said.
That's hard for a hitter to get on top of a ball like that. Especially Knapp, who's the low ball hitter. You try to pitch him up there. Maybe it was just close enough.
Yandy Diaz shoots one into center field. For Mike Napoli, it's his first home run of the spring.
It's not away, and it's just like middle, but he pulled those hands in that top hand game over the top of it, and just had some carry to it. He knew he hit it pretty well.
Number 15, Brandon Barnes.
Todd Hankins will take over and run at third for Yandy Diaz. Brandon Barnes first at bat today. Well, I was going to ask you, Rick, before Knapp got on top of that pitch and hammered it out of here, a lot of the at-bats I've seen, and I haven't seen all of his at-bats. He came in 2 for 17 on the spring. But a lot of the ones I've seen, a lot of pop-ups, like straight up on the infield, foul territory. Yeah. And I was going to ask you, what is that an indicator of, other than, okay, he's trying to get himself, trying to knock the rust off and get back into the flow. But when you're constantly popping it straight up.
Maybe trying to hit too many homers, you know, to try and show somebody that he still wants to play and he still has game. Maybe trying a little bit too hard for a veteran in spring training, you know, the way this offseason's gone with free agency, maybe he's pressing a little bit too much too.
Barnes takes up and away. 2 balls and a strike. Well, Carl Edwards Jr. came on, got the strikeout of Rajay Davis. But then Jason Kipnis, a base hit. Napoli, the 2-run homer. Yandy Diaz singling the center. And now Brandon Barnes takes a good hack, but fouling it back out of play. 2-2. Bradley Zimmer waits on deck. Tied him up. Good fastball. 2 down. And we'll see Bradley Zimmer.
Number 64, Todd Hankins. Center fielder, Bradley Zimmer.
We'll televise once again tomorrow, 4 o'clock Eastern time. Indians and Cubs wrap up this big league weekend here in Las Vegas. Then we'll head back to Goodyear. Our final spring training telecast next Wednesday, when the Indians take on the Kansas City Royals in Goodyear. And then
makes it a little night game.
That's true. It'll be a night game. 6 o'clock Arizona, so 9 o'clock back in Cleveland. Is that right?
That is correct.
Then a week from this coming Thursday, it's on from Seattle, Washington. So we're getting down to the end.
Trying to get you fans ready, you know, for our last spring training game to start watching at 9 and stay up so you can see that West Coast trip out there to Seattle and then L.A.
The Indians will play the Mariners for 3 games at Safeco Field, then head to Anaheim for a 3-gamer against the Angels, and then on home for the home opener, which is always a great time, but a long first homestand.
10, yeah, they have a 10-game homestand with no off days. And we play 17 home games in the month of April, which is a very strange.
Well, it's been so nice weather-wise in Cleveland this month. I don't know why you wouldn't want to start early at home.
Well, it's just, you know, it's hard to do in April. You just never know.
Down low. Well, hopefully it starts warming up. I think it was supposed to at least get into the 40s this week.
Well, like you say, why worry? Don't sweat the things that you have no control over,
That's
man.
right.
So just we'll have to wait and see.
These people are chilly. We'd kill for this in April in Cleveland.
No doubt.
1-2 to Zimmer. Big chopper to short. What a pick there by Young. And Zimmer just barely got him at first. Indians get on the board. Mike Napoli with a 2-run shot. Stretch time in Vegas. 9-2 Chicago. Cubs on top of the Indians, bottom of the 7th. Coming up, new pitcher for Cleveland. We'll tell you about him in a moment. First, the defense now for the Indians. Greg Allen still in the ball game in left. Kai Tom is now in center. Brandon Barnes in right. Hankins at third. Staymetz at short. Maggi at second. Joe Sievers at first, and Jack Murphy now behind the plate. Jeff Beliveau on here to pitch for the Indians. Left-hander. He's 31 years old. Fastball, curveball, cutter, and a change. Spent most of last year at AAA with Buffalo. He did pitch in 19 games with Toronto. He had one game with Toronto that he would just as soon forget about, and it was against the Indians. Nice breaking ball. He gave up 6 runs on July 21st against the Tribe without recording an out.
Ouch.
No, they just told us that the Indians did a switcheroo. So Brandon Barnes went from right to center field, and Kai Tom is now in right field. For those of you keeping track at home, down low in the dirt. Jeff Beliveau went to the same high school in Rhode Island as Rocco Baldelli. And he had a heck of a high school career. Back in '05, he was the Gatorade High School Player of the Year. Eventually drafted out of Florida Atlantic in 08 by these Chicago Cubs in the 18th round. Pitch outside, and he walks the catcher, Chris Jimenez. Get a pinch runner for Jimenez. Eric Castillo will run for Jimenez.
Is now playing third base.
And the batter, Mark Zagunis. Singleton scored in the second, hit a 3-run homer in the third. Hope you're enjoying your St. Patrick's Day wherever you're watching from this evening. We're quite blessed that we have our own Irishman on the crew. Our producer, the esteemed Jack O'Lantern. The 1-0 pitch, a little bit outside. That's an inside joke. I know we're not supposed to do those things, but
we did.
Yeah, we did. His tooth fell out, and, well, the rest is history. Fly ball to right field, and he lost it in the sun. Kai Tom handcuffed by it. On his way to third is Castillo, and he'll go in there safely. Well, the sun is setting, and it looked like Rick, the ball handcuffed him just as he was trying to fight off the sun.
Well, he got back, and that ball probably had some sink to it as well. You see him try and put the brakes on, and then I don't know if he picked it up right away as he turned and he put the brakes on, but that's one right there where he may have had some topspin coming down on you. A play he should have made, but it goes off the glove, and that's not the way you want to do it.
Jack Hanneman, or Jacob Hanneman, pulls it foul. Hanneman 2 doubles and a 2-run homer.
Yeah, what an afternoon he has had.
Swung on and missed. 0-2. I guess Andre's, he's got a little Irish in him. He went to Akron, St. Vincent, St. Mary. They're the Irish. So we got connections all over the place.
I don't know if he's going to respond to you.
Well, he's got the luck of the Irish. Let's put it that way. Nice play by Beliveau to get the first out of the inning. Zagunis moves into scoring position on the play.
He's not taking the bait.
He said he'd like to, but suddenly his microphone's not working.
He's not taking the bait. I can see him down there. He's smiling. He's just waving, get out of here.
Great catch, Bruce. Batting to the pitcher, Edwards, number 0. Foul, Brockmeyer.
Cale Brockmeyer, a catcher by trade, batting for the pitcher spot. Ripped to left, down the line, hooking, foul.
Well, just like all the rest of those Cubs hitters this afternoon, getting aggressive early. He gets his first chance to hit, and he's not wasting any time. They've jumped on a lot of first pitches today.
No relation to Jim Brockmeyer. Or at least we hope.
You sure?
Here's the 0-1. Off the glove, but Jack Murphy keeps it close enough. Nobody advances. We're in the bottom of the 7th. It's been a Cubs slugfest today. You see a lot of these games at Wrigley Field during the course of the regular season. Wind blowing out.
The wind blows out, right.
They homered 3 times in the first 3 innings. Outside, he missed. In fact, 6 of the Cubs' 9 runs today have come via the home run ball. And the only 2 runs the Indians have scored via a 2-run homer from Mike Napoli.
8 extra base hits, the 3 homers, 5 doubles.
2-2. Now, wind hasn't died down at all, too. It's still blowing pretty well straight out to center field. Fouled back, but as you can see, the folks who are behind home plate, now that the sun is starting to set with that wind whipping around, it's a little chilly.
You know, we're thankful that it is blowing out because, you know, it's not coming straight in. If it was blowing in, boy, it would be bitter coming in that way. But when you're sitting out in the stands, you could feel that breeze. And down on the field, it's much cooler than you normally think. But it hasn't affected the Cubs swinging the bat.
Fouled out of play. Eric Castillo, pinch runner at third base. Mark Zagunis at second, 1 down. And Cale Bruckmeyer at the plate.
Doing a good job staying alive in the batter's box, fouling everything off that Beliveau was throwing.
Two. Now you spent a year minor league baseball in Reno, Nevada.
Right.
How does Reno compare to Las Vegas city-wise? I've never been to Reno.
Well, it was much smaller, you know. Back in those days, it was what they have down there near the casino, the Strip, the biggest little city in the world, or something like that. It was quaint compared, you know. It wasn't a...
Here's the 3-2 pitch. Right back to the screen. There's a word I never thought would purse your lips. Quaint.
Yeah, well, back in '70s, it's grown a lot now. You know who lives out in Reno now is Mike Krukow, one of the announcers for the Giants. He lives out there, but you know, back in the '70s, it was much smaller. Lake Tahoe was about 60 miles away, about an hour's drive, which was a neat place to go to when you had an opportunity.
3-2 count. Second and third, 1 out. It's been a heck of a battle for Bruckmeyer. And he ends up drawing a walk.
Good at bat for him. He gets an opportunity. And
well, this is the kind of day it's been for the Chicago Cubs. Addison Russell with a home run in the first inning. Jacob Hanneman, opposite field, 2-run shot in the second. And then this was a killer. 3-run homer by Mark Zagunis in the third. And it was 9-0. Well, I think it was 8-0 at that point. Cubs added a run in the fourth to make it 9-0. Indians were handcuffed big time by Jose Quintana, who went 6 one-hit shutout innings. Bases loaded, 1 out. David Bodie at the plate. Trying to hold up, and he went around. In the dirt, nicely picked there by Jack Murphy. 1 ball, 1 strike. I would imagine, Rick, that there are a lot of folks who do come to Las Vegas. They get off the airplane, they get in a car, they go to the hotel, casino they're staying at, and that's all of Las Vegas they ever see.
Well, could be. If you're into gambling and you do that one thing, if you want to see shows, there's a lot of you have to leave your hotel sometimes if you want to see some of the premier shows.
Chop.
You have the time.
Foul. But the Strip, Las Vegas Boulevard, that area there, I don't know how long that is, mile or so, a couple miles maybe at most. There's a ton of action right there. But then as you get off the Strip, it thins out pretty fast.
Yeah.
But it's a city that continues to grow, as we mentioned earlier. The Las Vegas Speedway, where the old NASCAR event. New hockey arena, football stadium on the way. Boy, back in the day, you talk about excitement. The UNLV running Rebs.
Yeah.
They were a fun team to watch, yeah.
This seems like it's your kind of town. High roller, you know, you fit right in. I'm waiting to see your face on a billboard to the side of a hotel here.
There's a base hit in the left field. Another run is in. It's 10-2 Chicago. My face will be on the side of a bus. Wanted. David Bodie with his 3rd hit of the afternoon. 2 doubles and now an RBI single.
Yeah.
And that's going to be it for Beliveau as Terry Francona will make a pitching change with the bases loaded and 1 out here in the 7th. We'll take a timeout from Las Vegas. Back after this. Cam Hill, off-speed pitch to start, misses up high, ball 1. Cam Hill, 23 years old, hasn't pitched in the big leagues yet. He was a 17th round pick out of El Reno, Oklahoma back in 2014. Swung on and missed. Cam attended Redlands Community College in El Reno. Last year at AAA, I should say at AA, he was 4-4 with a 3.18 ERA. He had 13 saves. Broke his bat, popped him up, foul territory. 2 down. And that'll bring up Victor Caratini.
First baseman, Victor Caratini.
Down low. Caratini, and his only bat grounded out back in the 6th inning. Oh my, that gets away. No, it hit him. Hit him on the foot. And so a run will score and the bases are still loaded. 11-2 Chicago as Caratini will pick up an RBI.
It was right at the feet, and it looks like, did it get the front foot or did it bounce and get the back knee? Hard to tell. Yeah, front foot looked like.
Yasiel Bellegard will run at first for Caratini. Swung out and missed. Chesney Young. Chesney's only at bat came in the 6th, struck out, looking. 2 down. 0-1 pitch hit well. Right field, racing back. Tom is out of room, and he makes the catch, hangs on as he went up against the wall to retire the side. 2 more for the Cubs. We go to the 8th, 11-2 Chicago. Cleveland Indians and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians. Back here at Cashman Field in Las Vegas, we go to the 8th inning. New pitcher for the Cubs. Left-hander Dario Alvarez will come on. They'll be facing the 8 and 9 hitters for the Indians. Then we'll turn it over to the top of the order. Last year, Alvarez pitched in 20 games with the Rangers. And now trying to help out the Cubs bullpen. Jack Murphy going to lead it off. Greg Allen is waiting on deck, and Eric Steinmetz will be due up third. And Andre Knott had a chance to check in with Mike Napoli after he left the game here today.
Guys, Nap, how good does it feel to get a home run out of the way in the spring?
It feels pretty good, especially against a pitcher like that. Back end of a bullpen guy, has good stuff. I feel like I've been barreling stuff up, just kind of hitting them straight up, and it's finally nice to get on top of something, be able to drive it.
We've watched you for a while, and we know that when you get to drop your hands and you can hit them further than anyone else, doesn't mean you get on top of one like that up in the zone.
Yeah, I mean it's a pitch that's tough to lay off. it looks so big. It's right at your eye level already. So to be able to, get on top of something that's pretty firm, it's a good feeling, and it makes me know that I'm doing the right things.
Let's do a real question. We all know your situation, and obviously anything you can do when the game's on helps you. But how difficult is it mentally for you to come here and not know where you're going to be in 2 weeks?
Yeah, I just try to let that go. I take one day at a time. I mean, for me to be able to come here in this clubhouse and be with Tito and guys that I know that I'm good friends with, it definitely helps. I'm coming here to get better every day. And if something happens, I'll find a place to play. But I'm just trying to get in shape, do what I do, have fun with the guys in the clubhouse, throw stuff off them to learn, and just be the guy that I am.
I've seen you sitting next to Tito and the coaches during a lot of these games in the spring. I'm not trying to push you there, but is this something you would want to do down the line and coach at some point in time?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, wherever I've been to when I was younger, I always picked my manager's brain about stuff they do and certain situations. And, I love this game. I feel like I've been around it long enough to know the game and feel like I can get the best out of people, in a clubhouse or on the field. So it's something I definitely want to do. But I'm going to try to keep this jersey on playing as long as I possibly can. And then if I'm fortunate enough to do it, I'd love to do it.
I don't want to take anything away from you. Before I let you go, you made a play defensively, too. You still got some wheels.
I told Tito it took me about 4 or 5 steps to stop, though. I had all that momentum going. It took me a little bit to get my feet under me to try to throw home. But, anytime I step on the ball field, I want to play the game the right way and show the young kids that you always play the game hard.
You're beloved in Boston, you're beloved in Texas, and you're beloved in Cleveland. I know there's a small group of Indians fans. How cool is it just to be back here and to see how they appreciate you?
Yeah, it's awesome. Even when we're back home in Goodyear, it's every time I come up, they give me a pretty nice cheer, and it means a lot to me. We had a great year and a great season, being in Cleveland, and it's special, and it's something that you never forget.
I was so surprised when I saw where the team was going to Vegas and you came.
Yeah, I think when I got in here, I told Tito I'm going. I didn't even give him a chance to say I couldn't. So, no, it's fun. This is a great place. Obviously everyone knows about that. But we're here to play baseball and get better. But it's nice to maybe go sit on the blackjack table.
Well, you can go do it. Appreciate the time. Keep up the good work, man. We appreciate it.
All right, thanks, Andre and Mike. 2 down here in the 8th inning after Greg Allen goes down swinging. He's got a great attitude for a guy that's in a tough spot right now. Doesn't have a job, not really an opportunity here in Cleveland.
You hear what he said? I'm not ready to give up that jersey yet.
Yeah.
He's going to fight for it. He's going to continue, and he's got a good chance to play again this year. But as a player, there comes a time, and you have to think about it. You're rounding third, you're heading for home, and as far as the years of a ball player goes. But I'll tell you what, Mike Napoli has been to the playoffs with over the last how many years?
Yeah.
He has been lucky enough to be on some very good teams and play for a long time and deep into the playoffs. So he has a lot of knowledge and a lot of love for the game, and he likes to share it. And you know what? It's nice to see. That's why kids come to him, man. They want to find out, and he figures it out, and there's no one way about it. There's a bunch of different ways to go about it, but he's got the right attitude.
Pulled foul by Eric Staymetz. Well, and you heard him say it there, too. It's a spring training game, but that ball is fouled down the line. He went after it like it was the postseason. It doesn't matter. You never change how you play the game. You play the game
the way you know how to play it, and the only way you should play it, and that's all out every time you're on the field, whether it's a practice game or not. You're a major league player. You should not take anything for granted. I just read something a couple of days ago where I see they benched Avisel Garcia for not running the ball out in spring training.
Well,
and
Ron Gardenhire.
But no, in Chicago.
Oh, that's right.
And Rick Renteria.
Right.
And you know what? That's the way you do it. I don't care if it's spring training or whatever. You got to play the game the right way.
Yeah. If you let it slide there, then where do you draw the line?
Right. You better nip it in the bud here in spring training, and I think that was the right thing to do. Now, I don't know all about it. I just sort of read it, but I said to myself, that's okay. I mean, I think you should do that. I mean, because here's one of your better players who had a dynamite year last year for him.
Rick, that's something that catches anybody's attention when it's a veteran player and he gets benched. That makes news. It's a story. A little bit low. My question to you is, the play Napoli mean to young players, are they paying attention to that? Do they see that and say, wow, there's a guy busting it? Maybe towards the end of his career, and he's still playing it hard in the spring training game.
I certainly hope so. I certainly hope so. I think, well, you know, when you're a young kid and you're trying to do anything to open up somebody's eyes, that's the way you're going to try and play. But when you see a guy like that, yeah, young guys probably respect that a lot more. I certainly hope so. Lead by example.
There really is no other way to lead. And that's something I think that's been sort of overblown a lot of times in sports about what is leadership. Leading by example is really the only true way to lead.
Yeah, you don't have to say much at all. People think you have to talk and do that. No, talk's cheap. You go out there and play the game like it should be played, and the way you know how, and you do it day in and day out, and you have nothing to worry about.
And you hit it right on the head perfectly. Day in and day out, you have to be consistent.
The same person every. They have to know that attitude that walks in that door before you even put your uniform on, and you take it off. When you walk out of the door, you're going to be the same every single day. It's tough to have people come in and you're into it one day and the next day you're not. You have a different attitude. That doesn't work, and believe me, they see right through that.
Eric Steinmetz throws the bat at it, blasts it to deep left field, and it is off the wall. And into second base with a double is Steinmetz.
Looks like he was fooled on that pitch, but he kept his hands back, I guess, enough to hit it, and hit it a long way.
Yeah, and it looked like the left fielder, Charcer Burks, may have jumped just a split second too soon. Take another look.
Get back there. Well, you know what happened?
Rolled his ankle, huh?
Yeah, something. It might have been the soft dirt out on the warning track or something like that. When he went to jump, it looked like his legs straightened out, like almost like a hyperextension. He couldn't really get any jump to it.
Yeah, must not have hurt himself at all. He's still out there. Seems like he's fine, but it looked a tad awkward when he planted.
Let's watch that right leg as he's going to go up right here. See, I don't know. It just looked weird. You're right. He didn't have much to get up and get it.
Looked like a guy trying to do a triple jump.
Yeah.
You know that middle jump on a triple jump? It never looks right, does it?
Yeah.
Grounded to third. Nice play there by Vossler. Throws him out. Bottom of the 8th coming up. 11-2 Chicago. Blue Jackets are charging hard down the stretch in the NHL. They're currently tied for 4th in the Metropolitan Division, but they're only 1 point now behind New Jersey for 3rd place. They take on the Bruins in Boston. Blue Jackets live at 6:30. Face-off at 7 with Jeff Rimmer, Jody Shelley, and Dave Metzel. 11-2, Cubs lead it. Bottom of the 8th, Evan Marshall is the new pitcher for the Tribe. Trey Martin leading off for Chicago. There's Marshall's numbers last year with the Mariners. Smashed in the left field. Pappy is in left field, taking over for Greg Allen. There can't be many guys left on the bench, can there?
I would not think so. Now with a split squad game going on, that
yeah,
you know, it was earlier today back in Phoenix, Goodyear, Mesa, one of those.
Ali Solis is the new batter for Chicago. His first appearance of the afternoon, takes down low, ball 1. The Indians do have some decisions still to make before finalizing the roster. But I get the sense, talking to Tito before the game, not a lot of drama really as we come down the stretch here. He's got a pretty good handle on what he's going to do. Ground ball towards short. Let's see what Stamets can do with it. Goes to second. There's one. Machi tries to turn 2. Not in time. So Solis beats it out. 1 down.
Well, you see that second bounce. It's not hit hard. They tried to get rid of it as quickly as they could. Good feed, good throw. They just couldn't turn it quickly enough. The ball just hit hard enough for him to turn it.
Number 54, catcher, Burke.
Some of the decisions, though, the Indians will have to make that will be difficult will be the guys who are out of options, guys that they've grown to like, that they know well,
right?
But they're just.
Yeah, it's just that
room.
That's the way the game is. You're right. You go out of options. You got to keep them at the big league level, or somebody else can claim them, or you can designate them, and then they would have 10 days to trade them and figure something out. You wouldn't get maybe as much as you want for them, but I mean that's just part of the game, the way it works, and they have to stay in the big leagues, because they're out of options wherever they go.
Missed inside with that pitch. To right field, base hit. Solis stops at second. And the Cubs
continue to pound the baseball.
With the exception of the 6th inning, in which they were retired 1-2-3, they've had at least a hit in every inning of this game.
Well, they have 17 on the afternoon.
That is for the center fielder, Hammond. Number 93, Wyndham Bernard.
On deck is number 67, Daniel Yola.
Missed down low. Winton Bernard getting it at bat. Out of play. Down low. Right back to the screen. You know, talking about the Indians' final roster decisions, as you pointed out, with the guys who are out of options like Giovanni Urshela and Eric Gonzalez. Those are guys that there's a pretty good feel around the ball club. One's going to make the team, the other one is likely out. And
how many pitches do they break with? You know, bullpen guys.
Strike 3 call. Evan Marshall gets the strikeout, and there are 2 down in the inning. And, you know, you figure that currently with the outfield situation, you know, you're going to have to make some decisions there on health, as Andre reported earlier. Brantley, Dyer, they're getting close, but will they be ready in the 12 days? Probably not. So,
yeah, probably not.
I think the final bullpen composition, you know, essentially, depending on who you talk to, basically you're looking at one spot this spring that was truly up for grabs. Or, all right, let's see who we can find to fill that position.
Warming up for the Cubs.
You know, Cody Allen's going to be at the back end of the bullpen with Andrew Miller, Nick Goody. Chop to first, and the play is made. Seaver feeds Marshall for the final out. 8 complete. 11-2 Cubs.
Gave our producer Jim Murphy some time off today so he could sit and watch the game.
That guy have all his teeth? Jose Quintana carving today.
Well, he was about as good as we've ever seen him, moving the ball in and out, changing speeds. And that was later in the ball game, but he set it all up early in the game by fastballs inside, getting the right-handers to look in there. And 8 strikeouts allowed, only the 1 hit to Jason Kipnis, but he was vintage this afternoon.
Randy Rosario on to pitch now for Chicago. 4th pitcher of the ball game. Quintana went 6. Carl Edwards Jr. gave up the only runs of this game for Chicago. A 2-run homer to Mike Napoli in the 7th. Dario Alvarez a scoreless 8th. And now Randy Rosario here in the 9th. Drew Maggi getting his first at bat of the afternoon. Now early evening here in Las Vegas. And Maggi with a leadoff walk. And Joe Seaver will get his first at bat.
Now batting for the Indians, number 58, Joe Sever.
Swung out and missed. Fouled off to the right side. Tomorrow, Stephen Fife will get the start for the Indians. We'll also see Tyler Olson pitching out of the Indians bullpen. Tyler did a superb job last year for the Indians pitching out of the bullpen, giving them a second left-hander. Little chopper back toward the mound. And Rosario throws him out, 1 away. Maggi in the scoring position.
Third baseman, Todd Hankins.
Todd Hankins gets his first at bat. And it's in there for a strike. Most of the experts expect the Chicago Cubs to once again win the National League Central Division.
Well, they've made a lot of additions there. I mean, 5 additions to their coaching staff. That, when you think about it, and they were able to sign Yu Darvish.
Swung and a miss. Hankins down on strikes, 2 down. I think a big question this year, Rick, and we'll see the Milwaukee Brewers. What they did last year, was that ahead of schedule? Maybe.
Well,
bigger question is, can they maintain that this year?
They have young players that, you know, they had very good years. Now, can they duplicate that? I mean, the league adjusts, as we all know, to young players that come up and succeed. They find a way to search for holes. And now people are going to expect it. They had a 13-game increase in wins.
Right.
So, you know, that's hard to do, to add on to that. And, I mean, you've just, and it all comes to pitching. And they signed a lot of veteran pitchers maybe for help. So, you're right. That's going to be an interesting story over there. But they were able to hold off and stay close to those Cubs all year long last year. So that was a surprise.
Haven't really dived into the Cardinals. Where are they at in your mind this year in the NL Central?
Well, they certainly improved, you know. You know what? We'll see. I mean, it's a big question mark now. A lot of people expect them, but you know, the Cardinals are the Cardinals. You expect them to be competitive no matter what they have. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're just one of those organizations that you know they're not going to go away, and if they have an opportunity to add some more, they certainly will to compete in that division. They're getting back into the old basics of the Cardinals. Let's play some defense. They were terrible last year defensively.
Barnes drives into deep left. It is gone, a home run. 2-out, 2-run shot. Makes it 11-4.
Well, that was a no-doubter. That ball was hit right on the nose as he pulled it into left field, and he has very good power. And he smoked this ball. You want to get it in? Well, you left it right there. And I mean, that was the nitro zone. Nice short swing. See the hands come through, and he knew it. Put the head down and go to running.
And we'll get to see Kai Tom with 2 down here in the ninth. Kai Tom, a native of Honolulu. Still makes his home in Hawaii. He was a 5th-round pick of the Indians in 2015. He's in the hole, 0-2. Played collegiately at Kentucky. And the 0-2 offering. Swung on and missed. So the Indians get a couple of home runs here this afternoon, but that is all they're able to muster against the Cubs team that hit just about everything in sight. Chicago wins it by a final score of 11-4. As Ryan Merritt had a tough day at the office. He went 3